This is Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. Consider this your vitamin or supplement for your heart and mind. And wherever you receive podcasts from, would you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom and leave a rating and a brief written review? Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom are available everywhere fine podcasts are found: iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and beyond. Today I want to talk about leadership basics. Maybe even we could call it leadership baby steps. They're really on time management, so let's call them time management baby steps. Now I know right out of the chute here that there are those of you who don't believe you can manage time, and I pretty much follow in that line of thinking. That really time management is self-management and really life management. But I understand the principles of you only have so much time in a day and you have things to get done. So what are 10 steps that'll help you better manage your time? Let's start right away. Number one, your goals have to be the bookend of your life. If you don't have a goal of what you're seeking to accomplish in your life, if you haven't gotten alone with God, yourself, and really searched your heart as to what is it that I should be doing, then you will become captive to someone who does have an idea of what they want to see done in their lives, and you will end up doing what they want you to do, and that is never a good thing. So maybe the first thing before you begin to manage time is get quiet. Think through what are some things you want to do. And goals, as you know, cover every area of our life. Our home, spiritual, financial, our family and relationships, obviously goals at work, and the goals you have around your household as well. Just get some clarity on what you're needing to do. Because in order for you to know that you're succeeding, you have to know what the goals are. I've used the illustration before of a football game. A football game would be utter chaos if there weren't goal lines. The offense knows their goal is to get the ball across the goal line. And every time a defense comes out, they know their job is to stop the offense from getting across the goal line. They give the game boundaries. And therefore, you need goals, and your life and your ability to manage time, these will become the bookends for that. So the first thing you have to have is you have to know what your goals are. The second is you're going to have to learn how to focus. Procrastination, distraction. We live in a highly distracted area. You get on the internet, and in very quick time, it's easy to go down rabbit trails or get lost in some of our favorite subject matter. And there are different techniques of how you learn to focus, but one of those is having some steps that you're going to do today. We'll talk about that in a moment. And just really clarifying and getting focused for a few minutes to getting that project done. So the second baby step that you need, the second basic of time management, is you're going to have to practice focusing for short periods of time. Third baby step, or the third item, is you need to have a list. Now, I know, again, depending on who you follow and who you listen to, there are people out there that are negative about task lists and to-do lists, and I get that, and I even understand some of what they're saying. But my friend, you have to have a list of some sort. Whether it's in your mind, it'd be better to be on a sheet of paper, or if it's on your computer, you need to know what are the actions, the activities, the things that I need to be about and be doing today. You just have to have that. And that leads me to the fourth baby step in time management. When you have a list, it's not just enough to purge your mind and put all of these actions and activities and tasks that need attention, and you put them on your list. This is why many people are negative against to-do lists and activity lists, or punch lists, whatever you want to call yours, is because if you're not careful and you're not actually going through it and getting them done, and each day will bring you more activity and actions until the point there's some people, I have seen someone's to-do list that had 119 items on it. And what happens then is one becomes overwhelmed, discouraged, realizing I am never going to get all of this accomplished, and they just throw their hands up and quit. But let me tell you what you need to do. After you get everything listed out, get it down on the list, then you need to go to what I call is the fourth action, fourth requirement for effective time management, and that is locate on that list tonight. When you get it all out before you go to bed, look at it. What you need to do tomorrow. Identify the 3 to 5 essential tasks that just absolutely must be done before tomorrow evening. I do 3, some do 4, some do 5. Now, hear what I'm saying. It doesn't mean I only do 3 things and go home. On most days, I do a lot more than that. But the 3 things that are essential, and if you don't learn to prioritize the things that are essential, and you start working on that which is most important, you're just going to get kind of stuck. So it is your job to identify what are the 3, the 4, the 5, whatever number suits you, that are essential to moving me forward in my life, in my work, in my relationships, financially, all the other things. What are the 3 that I'm going to commit doing before I go to bed tomorrow evening? And then really get focused on getting those 3 to 4 or 5 tasks done. Make sure you're working on those things that are essential first, then continue to work your way through the list. The next baby step that I would tell you about is a morning ritual. I developed a morning ritual after having read several years ago The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, and he has an acrostic that spells out savers that you do. Most of us who follow that make adjustments, and my morning ritual is involving some Bible reading, prayer. I also spend 20 minutes or so reading, because reading is an important priority in my life. I also do my journaling then. I drink some water. I get ready for the day. Exercise is a part of those savers, but exercise is last for me. Exercise, I go to the Y on my way from home to my office. So even though it's a part of the savers, it's the last one that I do. And then because the night before I have identified what the 3 essential tasks for me the next day are, this enables me then at the end of my morning ritual, I begin to work on step number 1, priority number 1. Oftentimes, I'm able to get number 1 done before I even leave home, before I even go to the gym, before I even get to the office. On miraculous days, I get 2 and sometimes all 3 of them done. If I get 1 or more done before I leave home in the morning, I just feel so much better about my day. It takes some of the pressure off, because as all of us know, we have no idea what we're going to face on any given day. And there can be an emergency or something come up that you can't help. You have to. It's essential that you drop everything else and attend to it. Well, it makes me feel much better when that happens if I've already gotten 1 or 2 of the essential things done. And as I've mentioned to you, the morning ritual is followed up by the 6th item, which is you must have an evening ritual. My evening ritual doesn't look like the morning ritual exactly, though there is some overlap. One of the overlap, mine still involves a prayer time and some Bible reading and a little bit of other kind of reading. But my evening ritual is set aside where I look at my calendar and I look at the activities that I have for the next day, asking myself the question, do I have all of the material that I will need at hand so that when I have that meeting or I go to the appointment, I have what I need? One of the things that helps me with that is when I put something on my calendar, be it an appointment with someone, be it a committee meeting, a board meeting, whatever it may be, I always ask myself, what are the things that I need to bring to that meeting? What are to be the outcomes of that meeting? And oftentimes I have to go into Evernote or other files, either electronic or hard copy, and find the material so I have it at hand. I do that the evening before. I review it, refresh my mind on what it is that I'm supposed to be doing and all that's happening, and I make sure that that's done. It is in the evening ritual that I identify all the things that I want to get done the next day, but then I delineate and I point out and I assign 1, 2, and 3 to what I believe are the most essential. One of the things that I make sure of is that at least one of my three essential tasks, most important tasks for the next day, one of them is goal oriented. Now, oftentimes, as you would know, they are work related. But I make sure that because I talked about our goals need to be the bookends, they need to be the boundaries of our lives. It's not going to help me believe they're essential if I never work on any of those goals. So I identify a task, an activity for the following day that will assist me in reaching my goal. And these things are determined in the evening, a ritual that I do before I go to bed, and then in the morning, ritual where I go through certain things. It just makes my day run more smoothly. For some of you, it's going to mean you're going to have to arise an hour or so earlier, and in the quiet, undistracted quiet, you'll be able to get a lot accomplished. The seventh baby step of time management is single tasking. In other words, multitasking is really a myth. Now, I'll talk in a little bit how you can kind of bunch things and use time chunks to get a lot of little things done. But you'll be much more effective if you figure out, when I do the 1, 2, or 3, I don't work on all three at the same time. I work on number one until either I've gotten what I said I would do that day completed, or until it's done, and then I move to the next one, and I give my complete focus to the single task at hand. And it is amazing how much more rapidly, effectively, and efficiently I can get through all the things I need to do and get done by focusing on one item at a time. The eighth step in effective time management is you need to time yourself. If you're not familiar, you might look it up, the Pomodoro method. I have Be Focused Pro on all of my devices, my laptop, my desktop, and my phone. And I have it in 25 minutes of work, 5 minutes break, and then back at it. And so some of the tasks, as you know, can be done in 25 minutes. But what the timer does is it fights procrastination and off. It also keeps me from becoming distracted. I know that that time is running and I need to get ready. And so before I set the timer, if there's documentation I need and other things that I need gathered from other places, I make sure that's done. And then I hit the timer. And then in the 5 minutes, I either take a walk, get some coffee, use the restroom, and then come right back. Sometimes the task is large enough that it takes a couple of those 25-minute. I don't know what's magical about 25 minutes. I've heard enough people talk about it that I have kind of found it is a good time, and then take the 5-minute break. After I've done 2 or 3 25-minute segments with 5-minute break, I'll take a 15-minute break. But work on a task, but time yourself, put yourself on the clock. The ninth is one that really significantly changed things in my life because my to-do list kept getting larger and larger, and I wasn't getting the things accomplished that I desperately needed to get accomplished. And so now I began to put my significant tasks and activities that I need to get done, I put them on my calendar. In other words, I put them on the schedule. I made appointments with my tasks. And what I discovered that once something gets off your list and gets onto your calendar, now at least for me, I am more likely to work on it and to get it done. So I would say take at least your 3 essential, if not others, and put your tasks on your calendar, make an appointment. You know the time that you're available tomorrow. You know when your optimum time is energy-wise. There'll be other kinds of little tasks that you need to do that don't require as much energy. That's like cleaning out my inbox, doing some filing and those sorts of things. And I'll bunch those together later in the day when my energy is waning. But get the tasks on your calendar. That alone will change things. The other thing of why to-do lists get certain people in trouble is that many people are not able to distinguish a project from a task. You may have a project that's due next week, next year, 3 months, makes no difference. And if you just put that project on your task list, when it's time to work on that, you're overwhelmed because you're not exactly sure what the next step is. And so I have a project file, and one of the things that I do, here's when the project due date is. I work back till today and begin to delineate what is the next step that needs to be done, and then the next step. And I write them out, whether it's 5 steps, 8 steps, 9 steps. If you're planning a convention, it may be the first step is call 3 possible venues. And then the next step is get the price, whatever it may be. Now, we don't live in a perfect world, and there'll be times when you miscalculated how much time it was going to take. You can always spend some time and readjust, but don't lump an entire project onto your to-do list or even on your calendar. Put it in its own separate file and then break it down step by step of what are all of the things that are going to be required in order for this project to come in on time, under budget, and completed. And then list that task, whatever the next task is on your task list. You've been listening to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom. Words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I hope today this has been a vitamin and a supplement for your mind and heart. If you don't learn to manage your time, nothing else will much matter. Get control of your time and the things that you need to do, and you can be and will be an effective leader. This is Dr. Ron saying until next time, leader, you're doing better than you think you are, and learn to manage the time, and everything else will take care of itself. Till next time, this is Dr. Ron saying, have a great and blessed day.